It would be nice to live forever. Or would it? Whenever you express such a thought, there's always someone there, ready to go off with a doom and gloom. Maybe you've even been infected by the idea yourself, and whenever someone shares enthusiasm about immortality, you repeat it. There are multiple objections to immortality, of course, but most of them are either obvious sour grapes or easily solvable problems. There is one, however, that stands above the rest, that merits special attention: the ultimate problem. Think about it. If you're immortal, you're eventually going to end up stuck, cold, alone, in the darkness of space, forever, at the end of time. You may have seen videos like this one, where your ultimate fate looks like this. Even this image is misleading. There are going to be no stars and no light, so it's really going to look like this. That sure sucks, doesn't it? Or does it? Because the problem with that scenario is that it doesn't make any sense. Now, let no one misconstrue what I'm saying here. I'm not saying it's impossible to make eternal life miserable. That is, of course, trivial to do. But the same can be said of regular life as well. However, eternal life cannot end like this. Now, why is that? There are two versions of immortality we need to consider. One is the eternal life version, where you exist forever, but you can still die. This one is obviously no problem. You always have an exit strategy. You will eventually run out of food or water or air, so this option is simply superior to our mortal lives, simply due to the fact that you have a choice that ordinary mortals do not. This is, however, not the immortality of the doom and gloom soothsayers. They tend to think of true immortality, where you can survive anything and everything. Let us consider what is being said here. It looks like this. 1. You are immortal. 2. The laws of thermodynamics mandate that the universe will eventually end up a desolate wasteland. Therefore, eventually you will be stuck in the cold and darkness forever. Now we need a short segue into thermodynamics. Allow me to restate the laws of thermodynamics in their simpler form. You're playing the game. You can't win. There's no free lunch in the universe, no way to get more energy out of something than you put in. You can't break even. Some energy is always going to get wasted, and, like that other game, you cannot quit. You, dear listener, require energy to function, which you imbibe in the form of food. This is where we come back to immortality. If you are truly immortal, the sort of being that can't die no matter what, then you are getting free lunch somewhere. You're a walking, talking violation of the laws of thermodynamics. You are a perpetuum mobile of the first kind, an endless energy source. But wait, there's more. More than just our typical food requirements. For it to be true immortality in any meaningful sense, you need to continue being conscious, which requires for the integrity and structure of your brain to be protected somehow. After all, a brain is a physical system too, so if the rest of the universe froze, so would you. If you are aware in the darkness of space unending, that implies your brain is at a temperature that enables it to work, which means that you're getting a load of free thermal energy out of nowhere. Once again, that is a lot of free lunch. Brains don't work when sufficiently damaged either, so something must protect your brain from any and all physical harm. That too is a free lunch and more. It implies the existence of astonishing physical laws that enable miraculous abilities like surviving black holes or emerging from the core of a star unscathed, or any possible fate you could meet in the universe. Let us see that once again. You in the darkness forever scenario relies on laws of thermodynamics being true, but if you're truly immortal, then they are false. This scenario is an internal contradiction. It is logically inconsistent. These two statements cannot be true at the same time, making it literally impossible for this conclusion to be valid. True immortality requires, at the very least, exploitable loopholes in the laws of thermodynamics and laws of physics that permit invulnerability on par with Superman, and I mean the comic book version here. Now, what would your fate as a true immortal look like? That's unknown. I myself prefer the version of events where we reverse engineer the perpetuum mobile that enables your immortality and we all have a never-ending party now that we're eternal demigods unconstrained by limits of mass and energy and harm, but I have to concede that I don't know. The ultimate fate of a universe with physics different than our own is a question that is in the end unknowable. Not that the question of the ultimate fate of a universe that never ends because it violates the laws of thermodynamics makes any sense in the first place. What I do know, however, is that a scenario that is a logical contradiction cannot be true. If you happen to be granted true immortality, rest assured eternal darkness in a cold universe is not your end, because a universe whose inevitable end is the long void does not allow for immortals to exist in the first place.